How to use Scrum of Scrums. It is recommended that you have your board in the tracking state to start using Scrum of Scrums, which is accessible from the More menu. The All Team section is meant for the RTEs or Scrum of Scrums Masters to provide the highlights, log program level impediments, and create action points. Highlights. Type the points you want to communicate during your ceremony. Best practices include using bullet points for key points, where you can briefly mention your achievements and important activities. It is also good to have challenges and write about roadblocks, discussions needed, or support from others. At all teams, this should be filled in by RTE or Scrum of Scrums Master, and then for each team, it should be done by Scrum Master. Impediments. Add new impediments and tag the items on your board as well as the users who need to act upon them. An email notification will be sent to the tagged users. Shortcut to closing impediment is to click on the checkbox. On All Impediments view, you are able to reorder and star them. Starred impediments will be shown on the board. When an impediment is tagged to teams, it will automatically appear in their respective section. Action points. Create action points, tag responsible users, and have the option to mention using hashtag the relevant items, for example, feature or user story. Action points are separated for the program level and also for the teams. To view all of them together, click on the action points count and select the appropriate option. Flagged or blocked. In Jira, you are able to flag a feature or user story. Once enabled at Kendis board, the same flag appears on Kendis cards too. To make it easier to understand which stories and features are blocked, Kendis groups them in the relevant areas. You also have an option to add a flag to your cards from this view by typing the ID or title and selecting it. Progress updates. This section is filled up automatically based on the matching sprint of your Scrum of Scrums session. Progress completion is based on the story points or the number of stories done. It is possible to click on any of these numbers to view the relevant data. For example, to view the risks that missed their due dates in the previous sprint or dependencies open in this sprint. Closing of the Scrum of Scrums. At the end of each Scrum of Scrums session, the system will notify you with the message that you should close the session. Once you mark it completed, you can't undo this action. Once the session is concluded, Kendis will move the open impediments and action points to the next session automatically. You do have an option to go back to the previous session and look at the view. All the data will be frozen in that state, including progress update numbers. Reminders. To remove the burden of reminding everybody manually about the open items, Kendis can send reminders to the Scrum Masters or selected members of the teams before the start of the meeting. A reminder will not be sent if a Scrum Master has already updated the highlights, taken action on impediments, and followed up on action points.